Indulge in Blum's luxurious Lotus flower rolls. The green Lotus roll bursts with a caramel apple flavor, while the blue Lotus roll offers a smooth berry cream sensation. With our Crush for Flavor technology, enjoy an instant burst of natural, intense flavor anytime you desire. Elevate your experience with the finest creations nature has to offer. Explore the full collection at blumleaf.com. That's BLUMLEAF.com. Blumleaf.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about comic books, costumes, facts, boots, and other stuff.
In this week's issue, World's Finest Wednesday.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by the masterful one himself, Mr. Mike. Mike, do I look a little off center, or is that just me?
No, I think you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's the DVD background.
I'm Zach. It's Mike. Yeah. Well, it's not the thing. Oh, you're talking about you. You have the DVD background.
I have the DVD background. I think it's throwing you off.
Maybe it is. I just feel like.
You watch, there it comes.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I'm off. We have my. Have I ever shown anybody here? Quick tour of my back thing. Mr. Miracle,
Quick tour of my back thing.
A Roy Kent Venn diagram. This is terrible for people who are just listening.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah. Well, if you are listening, the DVD thing we were talking about is that DVD logo.
Oh, that's
that
true.
Bounce around on the screen. Yeah. Yeah, it's behind
anyway,
me.
welcome into
Pat and Lawrence Taylor for some reason are behind me.
Oh man, if you were listening via audio, you are very confused right now. But that is a terrible way to start the show. Thank you guys for listening. This is Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined by Mike, where each week I, Zach, either break down a comic book character or story and present it to Mike, who knows a decent amount. He knows enough to be dangerous about comic books, but and then we just talk and react and have fun. And really, sometimes it devolves into conversations that just have to do with what we talked about. You know, not really insightful, but it's fun to sit around and be a part of it. I like to think. Look,
I'm drinking brown.
Yeah, non-sponsor specific cola.
Brown.
I made a decision last week.
Yeah.
And this is our world's
That's a good
finest
life if you only have to make one decision a week.
Here's the thing. This is a World's Finest Wednesday, which is usually a shorter one, and we don't get into all this banner. So I'll make this really quick. But I was just going to say,
shut up.
No. No, I'm talking to myself actually on this one for once. But we had cops come out on Monday.
Yeah.
And I made the decision of it was copyright struck.
Okay.
Because
of the cartoon.
Because of the cartoon intro we played in it. Yeah, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I think that it's kind of integral to it, and so I just left it. I could have chopped it out.
You know what I'm more impressed impressed with is the fact that somebody is still defending the copyright of that thing.
Yeah, I love how I should probably, when we do this, I always forget to, but I'll do it now there, because we actually, when we look at each other at first when it's set up, there we go. Now we can actually, looking at each other.
Yeah.
If not, we're looking away from each other.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like that guy you knew in high school and you didn't know where to look on his forehead as he was talking to you.
On his forehead?
Well, that's the way I always, like if you got one eye going one way and one eye going the other way, I always look you right straight in the forehead because I don't know where to look.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I guess I kind of get what
there
you're
was a thing
for.
The other day, my doom scroll thing.
Yeah.
It was this couple, and I use that word generally or literally or figuratively.
Okay.
I use it any way I want. They had gotten in trouble, and I'm not making light of the fact that they were hurting their kids or whatever. But then I got down to the picture of them, and oh boy, that guy could see around a corner. That was it was a little rough.
All right, this is why we usually don't do banner. We just
Yep,
get right to the story. Wednesdays. We have a very ridiculous and yet just fun story today for our World's Finest Wednesday.
What did you tell me about this when we first started? What did you tell me about this before we started recording?
I told you this might be, I think I said worst.
Yeah, I think you said silliest or worst or something like that.
But I'll just say I think that this might be the worst Superman story I've ever read. But it's not like, I don't mean worse like that. It's one of those of where, here, I'm going to say this right before we get into it, because I know some people might be like, yeah, but it was written for kids. I get that. Sure. Like, I'm not knocking this at all, because today's story is actually written by Jerry Siegel, who is part of the group that
if I know the name
Superman.
Jerry Siegel,
it's him and Joe Shuster who created Superman. Yeah. So, who's obviously written and added so much to the character. I'm not mocking the writer. Like, there's things like we all do stupid stuff. You can just go back. Mike and I, granted, I don't think it's stupid. Some people might think it is, but I helped write adult puppet show. I almost said adult themed, but it wasn't. It was an adult puppet show with Mike, right?
It was.
Some
perfect.
people find that weird and might be like, "Dude, can you believe this exists?" I think it's hilarious. I'm saying everybody gets to be creative. They get to do what they want to. This story. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun with it.
You want to know my stupid decision from that?
From the puppet show?
Yeah. We didn't film it. It's really frustrating.
Well, no. Yeah. I think we thought we were going to be punk rock at one point in time, and like somebody was going to film from.
We did. We thought, clips of this will get out.
Yeah, we thought the ridiculousness of it.
And then we got into it, and we were like, teenagers. Yeah. And then
and they're like, we should have filmed it. It was for what it was. I think it was pretty funny.
I will tell you this. It is one of the finer experiences I had in making weird content.
Hard ass croutons.
It was hard ass croutons was the commercial. If you guys want to see that, I have that. That's for sale for only $5.99. No, it's if anybody wants to see that, let us know. Very Hard Croutons was the name of the commercial, and it's very stupid because it's like 2 minutes long. Like, nobody's playing that.
Well, it was that, and then our commercial breaks were also like old, like
they were old Muppets commercials. Like, it would be a Muppet,
but not like the Muppets. Just
no, it was the Muppets before it was the Muppets.
Oh, really?
So it was original Jim Henson Muppets. Before they were even called that. And they were like, hey, try Folgers coffee or I'm going to shoot myself in the head. I mean, it was that kind of thing. And I'm not making light of people shooting themselves in the head. Don't do that. But one of the commercials was like, hey, how you like this? It was almost like a Hawaiian Punch commercial, but with a gun.
I'm realizing
black and white
that I don't think I've ever seen a Hawaiian Punch commercial when you say that.
What do you mean? The one where it's like
I've seen the guy.
Nice Hawaiian Punch?
No, I don't think
would you like a nice Hawaiian Punch? And then the guy would go, yeah. And he'd go, bam. And he'd just punch him in the face.
I do not remember that at all.
Wow.
I mean, I've had Hawaiian Punch. I drank it as a kid.
Wow.
Now you kind of sound like Owen Wilson. Today.
That's my Owen Wilson. Wow.
Before we, I think the reason I switch is because when I look like I'm reading, that's what I'll do. I'll just go back and forth.
By the way, the puppet show, if you ever want a good ending to a show, give away all the buckets you own. We had a whole bunch. We had a whole bunch of Home Depot buckets.
Yep, we did.
And so at the end of this show, we said, and as a special surprise, everyone gets a bucket, and they all took a bucket with them. We have pictures of people going to IHOP afterwards and sitting next to their bucket eating pancakes.
That's what we have pictures of. We don't have anything from the puppet show itself.
Don't have anything from the puppet show. No, it was great though.
With buckets, and it was fun.
I would love to do it.
All right, so I told you today's story is from Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. Issue number 20.
It's so reductive a title.
It is.
Superman's girlfriend.
And
I thought girlfriend was one word.
Oh, you're right. They do space it out.
Yeah.
I was trying to see while we were talking about it. I should have looked this up before. This series ran from 1958 to 1974.
Wow.
139 issues is what I wanted to see, was how many issues of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. So, and they're filled with stories like this, Mike. So believe me, for World's Finest Wednesday, we will come back here. But after I get done with this, we might do a regular episode sometime this year, just covering these, because you'll see.
Hear me now and believe me later.
So the cover story that we have is about, what is the name of that one? It's called Lois Lane's Super Daughter. That's not the story we're covering today. We're not covering the cover issue. I was just showing you the cover.
I'm so happy you married Lois Lane and adopted me. Now we can go out and perform super feats together.
I'm
how she
gonna use
speaks.
it. Yeah. No.
Superman and Supergirl are so excited. They're practically forgotten about me, but I don't mind. I love them both.
Yep. There you go. That's our cover.
That's what Lois Lane says.
Our story that we're about to get into. I'll go ahead and give the credits before I get into it. Superman's Flight from Lois Lane is the name of the story. The writer was Jerry Siegel, as I talked about. Penciler and inker were both Kurt Schaffenberger for this issue or this story. And then the editor at the time, another Mort Weisinger, who we have talked about.
This almost feels like an Elseworld type tale, you know?
That's the thing is these are, when you think about, because obviously.
Yeah, they're not canon. I mean, come on.
No, not now. At the time, though, like these are things that were written for DC. Stayed very lighthearted.
Yes. They were the family-friendly comic
at the time before they went a little, and it was very much written for kids, and I get that. And
before they hired Momoa.
We get things like this, but sometimes, did we talk about that? Yeah, we talked about Lobo. Okay. You get stories that are so ridiculous and all of this. They're just fun to enjoy, and you have to appreciate it for what it is. A Silver Age Superman tale, which is why we made this Wednesday show.
I don't think anybody thinks this was made yesterday.
No, I did add you a treasure chest of fun
because Mike loves the fun.
I like how he just like digs in a little bit.
Yeah,
he leans into the laptop.
What does that thing say at the bottom? Oh, no,
black tent.
I've made my bed now to sleep. Yeah, black tent. What is that?
It's chewing gum. It says sucker start.
Turns your teeth black.
Yeah, chewing this ordinary looking gum, and his mouth and teeth turns black. It's awful, but harmless.
That's fun. Who doesn't want to make their teeth turn black?
Prankster exhaust whistle, an auto breaker.
Greatest
you
put it on the back of the car.
Place this gadget inside any tailpipe and watch the fun.
Do that kind of
Sounds like the transmission, fuel pump, and whole rear have caved in. Harmless, but a panic.
That's what happened to my second wife.
75,
whole rear caved in.
75. How her rear cave.
These are wonderful, though. I love
the
these
rubber
snake.
Build a body of steel. Atomic smoke bomb.
Whatever that is.
Hot candy.
Is that what that is? Hot candy?
No, yeah.
Okay.
I guess it probably looks like strawberry, but it's cinnamon or something.
Oh, it's so hot.
Our story.
And then he dies because he's allergic to it.
Our story is Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, issue number 20. As I said, the Superman's Flight from Lois Lane. We start off where Superman is rescuing Lois as she's falling. And Lois says, imagine being rescued by the amazing Superman who recently came to Metropolis. How thrilling. But if you look behind, there's a billboard behind Superman.
Clark?
And it says, listen to Clark Kent on radio station WMET. Great new Midnight to Dawn disc jockey.
Midnight to Dawn.
You're going to love this. You are so going to love this. The whole time I was reading it, I was thinking that. And Superman thinks to himself, like, what's going on? I traveled back into the past to begin another life in Metropolis and took another job, mainly to avoid Lois. But here I am rescuing her again. So that's going to set the scene.
He's so put upon.
He is.
Superman.
I wanted to read it as is to set the scene of the comic we get into with our story.
Superman's being a bitch. This is what Superman's doing.
Our tale opens up where Superman and Lois are about to jump out of a plane. Right?
Okay.
Superman's like, oh, man.
Doesn't seem fair, but okay.
They're both about to jump out, parachute out of a plane. Superman as Clark Kent pretends to be scared. He's like, I don't know if I can go through with this job that like Perry gave us of writing an article of what it's like to parachute jump, Lois. And Lois just basically kicks him in the butt out of the plane and goes, don't be chicken, Clark. Out you go.
And here's the thing you have to understand. She doesn't know that he can fly.
No, she just was like, come on. Well, as he falls out, his parachute does not open.
Uh-oh.
And he falls. And Lois is like, oh no.
Oh my God.
His parachute.
He did a Wile E. Coyote.
He did. He's like, oh no, his parachute won't open. And she's just like, I can't bear to watch. And so she covers her face. And while she covers her face, Superman, who has, like Mike said, thwomped in the ground, or voomp is the sound effect it does, into the ground like Wile E. Coyote, pulls himself out and uses his breath to blow open his parachute and blow himself back up into the sky.
Again, he has made a man-sized hole in the ground. It's the shape of a man,
like
with his arms out.
Yeah.
It's a man akimbo. It was hit the terra firma and gone straight through.
And so he opens up his parachute and blows it back up in the air. So when Lois peaks again, she's like, "Oh, his parachute opened at last! Oh, thank goodness!
Thank God, no manslaughter for me."
But he goes, once again, Lois has nearly discovered my real identity as Superman. I'll have to sneak back later and fill in that hole my fall made so no one gets suspicious.
She's an idiot if she doesn't see that man-shaped hole.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't see it. She covers her face. Is like, oh, he must have,
I have to be quick and get some leaves.
Because Superman decided to, somehow blow himself back up in the air. He did. Yeah. He did in this case. I also love the idea of like, I'm assuming he doesn't change into like a Superman garb, but maybe he does it pretty quick. Obviously, you wouldn't see it.
Sure.
But in my mind, he's dressed like he just leaves the Daily Planet in his suit and he just has a shovel and he's just over there just filling in the hole instead of like using his Superman powers to do it. Anyway, so back at the planet,
blow some dirt in it.
Yeah, you could. He'd be able to do it really quick. Like, remember Supergirl when she dug all those graves? Like, it took her like no time. Like, he'd be able to fill it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it says after they return to the Daily Planet that Lois is just like, if Clark was Superman, he could have done something to that parachute while my eyes were closed. That's what she's thinking to herself.
Fair thought.
Superman's just like, you know what? I'm covering up these clues for Lois to figure out my identity, for her not to be able to figure out my identity.
Yeah.
It's a real nuisance. Like, I have to do something about it. So he goes into an alley and he switches into a Superman costume. What do you think he does, Mike?
Tosses one off right there. Right there in front of the hobos and all. Is that what happens? But he does it real fast so nobody can see it.
No. Oh,
speaking of a man-shaped hole.
That's Homelander.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. No. His idea of how he's going to correct all this is an incredible burst of super speed sends the Man of Steel crashing through the time barrier. Back in the past is where he decides to go, and he decides, you know what I'm going to do to fix this? I'm never going to work at the Daily Planet, and then I don't have to worry about Lois.
Oh, my God.
So Superman's bright idea, again, is he's like, I'm not going to work there. I don't have to worry about Lois.
Here's my issue with this and Superman 1 with the guy who fell off a horse.
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah. If Superman can go back in time, or can twist the effing planet around so that things go back to the way they are, why don't you just do that all the time?
Fair enough.
Dumbass, just go back in time.
This is the second Superman time travel story we've dealt with.
Yeah.
Remember when they went back in time and he made everybody think Batman was a witch?
Oh yeah. That was
which sounds ridiculous to say, but that was a great one too.
Well, and they tried to put him in the stockades and all that stuff. Yeah.
That was the punishment that they had for him. Oh man. All right.
They had at the time.
So Superman.
Plus, he's ruined all those calendars.
That's true. Superman cannot help himself, decides to walk by the Daily Planet. He's like, I remember applying for a job there. Let me just look in and see what's going on. And he looks and he using his super sight and hearing, because he doesn't walk in, but he can see what's going on.
Yeah.
And Lois Lane is there at the classifieds desk working for the woman who usually takes classified ads, but isn't there that day. And he overhears that the radio manager of WMET would like to advertise for a midnight to dawn disc jockey.
And that's where I go as the classifieds.
By the way, I don't think I gave you the time frame. I think this is October of 1960. I know you usually like to know. That's when this issue came out.
Yeah. Okay.
So down on the street, Superman's like, you know what? A disc jockey? Like, yeah, I could do that.
That's a real job.
And he's like, it'd be a good front then for me to be Superman too. Mm-hmm. Like, and plus I don't have to worry about Lois harassing me with her tricks, man.
Yeah.
So he goes to apply. And the guy asks, well, what are your qualifications? And he tells him, man, I like music a lot. And I can name almost every song written in the last 50 years. And so the guy decides.
That's a friggin' lie.
No,
for anyone.
He has total recall memory. Do you not remember?
Does he?
Yeah. All right. At least at this
time. But again, he would have had to have seen or heard every single song. He doesn't.
Here's how he gets by this. The guy asks him to name songs, and he just peers past him. The radio's record library is right behind the guy giving him the interview. So he just reads off like the spines of the records.
It's like freaking Usual Suspect.
Yeah, he's just like reading the information off the records albums in the station's record library next door is easy. And that guy's like, man, you named like 500 titles correctly.
500?
Names of these songs include The Night You Cried by John Crane, Kisses That Lie by Young and Brandon. Both of them together.
Young and Brandon.
Young and Brandon.
Loved them on Laugh-In.
Then we're met and introduced to, there was a reason I was looking up other people in Clark Kent's life name that begin with LL. Lois Lane, Lana Lang. I forgot the John Byrne one we just looked up. Lori
Loopy Looney.
Lemus.
Laura Lingus. Is that what you just said?
No, I didn't. That's an SNL joke. No, that's
Lingus.
Colonel. Never mind.
Colonel Lingus.
So
Colonel.
we are introduced to, or Clark is introduced to, Lisa Landis.
Okay.
And that's
John's daughter.
Yeah, she's gonna be or Max's sister, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So she is going to be Clark's assistant here.
Okay.
And he thinks, but he's like, man, okay, the initials LL, this always seems to be a thing. They always like to remind you. He's like, you know, Lana Lang was my girlfriend when I was a teenage boy. What a coincidence. Anyway, we don't have to worry about Lisa right now because Lisa
Lane's that bitch that pushed me out of a plane.
That's Lois. But Lisa's like, I heard you like to work alone. He's like, yeah, I do better that way. And she's like, all right, I'll give you your space. And he's like, man, this is so nice. She's discreet. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, she won't be a pest like Lois Lane was. Like, Superman's so relieved by this. And you know what? He just becomes beloved.
He's the best disc jockey. He's the best.
He is. It says instantaneous success greets.
He's never cracked.
Are you ready
record.
for the name of the song? The song. Are you ready for the name
Please.
of his show title? Instantaneous Success greets the Songs with Clark Kent Midnight to Dawn Disc Jockey Show.
The Songs with Clark Kent.
The full name is The Songs with, or no, it's just the, and then it starts. So it's Songs with Clark Kent Midnight to Dawn Disc Jockey Show is the full name of the show.
Wow.
It's a mouthful, man.
The Man Who Has a Microphone and Some Records Near Him show.
And if you wanted to know what Superman sounds like, hosting a radio show, it'd be, hiya, Platter fans. This is the Sultan of Song, Clark Kent, bringing you to another smash lineup of great tunes. And now a lovely melody that's skyrocketing up toward #1 spot on your WMET Hits Parade. It's Rubber Band Man. I had to. I'm sorry. It's Lips That Caress.
Lips That Caress.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's doing very well as a disc jockey. And during the day when he's not working at the radio station, he's still performing Superman feats. So it's perfect for him.
And circumcision.
And nobody's there. Well, that's just until, he's able to get a little bit more at the radio station.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a little bit more off.
Oh, no, not making that joke. But as he's just sitting there, I guess we did. As he's just sitting there thinking at the radio station while he's listening to a record play one day, he's like, you know what? I do wonder what's going on with Lois over at the Daily Planet. And so he views over there. He views over there and he sees her. And the boss, Perry White's just like, Lois, go home. You've been working a lot. Like,
Lois, go home.
You've been working a lot on this counterfeit ring, like exposing them. Like, this is a great article.
Wasn't she just working at the classifieds desk?
She was filling in for the person who did classifieds.
So as a reporter who's going to cover things like he just mentioned,
she also had to fill in for classifieds.
She also has to fill in for classifieds. Well,
it's a woman in the 60s.
Jobs that you and I have had, I can see
that. Also that too.
Yeah,
but I do feel like they would also, unfortunately, not respect her and be like, oh, the classified girl's out. Who should we do it? Have Lane do it. She's the only other woman we got here.
True.
That kind of thing.
True.
So
who's got ovaries?
Yeah. That seems very 60s-ish. But what was that? Oh, so Lois goes to leave, but Clark is watching. For some reason, he just keeps following her. I'm assuming still sitting in his same chair, and he can just see far away because he notices her walking away. And this car that's trying to hunt her down and drive, like run her over. But I don't know how he does that from the same spot. Like logistically, if him just standing in one place and being like, he just watches her, leaves the daily. Like, does he? I guess he like focuses enough, and he can like focus.
You have to see through stuff. You can't afford it.
That's true. But he decides he's got to go save Lois. You want to know what he uses to help make sure that his cover stays up while he goes saves Lois? Swiftly, Clark changes into a Superman costume. And then, no one watching, I'm prepared for just an emergency. I'll take this Clark Kent dummy from the secret panel I constructed and place it before the microphone. He pulls a dummy out of a secret compartment in the... Here's what I want to know. How did he build the secret compartment in the radio station that I'm assuming everybody uses and nobody else has come across? Also, when did he have time to build it?
Also, how is that mannequin going to do his job?
Well, here's what happens. So Superman goes and saves Lois from the counterfeit ring trying to run her over.
Mm-hmm.
But we also get a flashback between them all dancing there, like while they're listening to outside the radio or the room where Clark is supposed to be. Yeah. Everybody at the radio station is just dancing, having a good time. And one of the guys, or I don't know, I guess they're not. Olsen. It looks, here's, I've misinterpreted. Nobody's dancing or having a good time. One of the guys just walked by, and the way he's pointing and winking makes it look like he's dancing to me, but he's not. Hashtag no dancing, my bad. But he's like, as he walks by the window, he's like, look at Kent napping in there while the record spins. And Lisa Landis goes, and why not? He's smart to conserve his strength whenever he has the chance to.
Yeah, muscles.
So she's sticking up for him. And apparently it just looks like with the dummy that Clark's just sticking up. What happens next then?
But again, how does a dummy change records? How does it, I mean, think of it. This was a very analog job at that time, right? The thing can't speak. I mean, I at least thought you would tell me he's going to like pull a Ferris Bueller, and have a tape recorder or something in there.
No, not at all. Oh, not at all. So
you'll have to excuse me from the coughing. I'm so sorry.
So we then get kind of like a montage of, since Lois keeps writing all these expose articles, things keep happening to her.
Yeah.
She falls out of the window trying to photograph the parade, and Superman's like, all right, accident prone kind of, aren't you? She goes bowling, and he swoops in to catch the bowling ball, and she's like, hey, why? And he's like, come outside, I'll show you. And he throws the bowling ball into the sky, and it explodes. And he's like, I heard a ticking time bomb inside there. Like,
boy,
your articles are evidently annoying some pretty tough characters, Lois.
That's how the mob killed people back in the 60s, exploding bowling balls.
And then
you don't even want to know what they did with those shoes.
Lois is like, oh, you saved my life again. I'm grateful. But why do you keep helping me? But of course, like any woman in characters at the time, or in comics at the time, they can never pass the Bechdel test, because she immediately is like, well, I guess it's two women who have to talk. Never mind. That's not even, I can't pass the Bechdel test. But she does sit there and think, and she's like, is he falling in love with me? Like, of course, it just has to be like, he's saving me. Because
yeah. That's what it's got to be about.
It's all about the man's
That is the weirdest picture of Superman's face I've ever seen, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't look right.
No. And remember, they wanted to erase Jack Kirby's Superman face to have Kurt Swan draw over it.
Right.
No, that's not this. I'm just saying, like, that one's okay, but
that one's weird looking.
Haven't really changed it. It's not awful. Like, it's just
I'm not saying it's awful.
It's
it
a little
just doesn't look
plasticky
like
in a
Superman.
way. It's a little plasticky in a way. I will say the women's faces in this are nice. Like
just like Archie.
Yeah. So Superman swooshes back in to take over for the dummy that just. And here's the thing: is the dummy doesn't sit up.
Asleep.
That's it. The dummy looks like it's asleep all the time. So if anything, anybody walks by, they're just like, "There's Clark Kent sleeping on the job again."
Clark's a dick. Look at him.
He just spins records and sleeps, man.
Wow.
But look at all the fan mail that comes in.
Well, it is midnight to dawn, whatever time that is.
Do you think there's actually a time that, like, or do you think he just signs off at random times every day?
Hey, everybody, we've reached dawn again. Gotta go.
I know it was 4:23 yesterday morning. It's 5:17 this morning. Like, it's just,
keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the dawn.
Oh man. But he makes a whoosh noise, like, Superman would coming through the window.
Yeah.
And it attracts the attention of Lisa Landis, who's like,
sure,
that whoosh sounds like it would be if Superman were streaking through. And so she goes in, and as she walks into the room to see, is Superman there? She hears the whoosh play again. And then Clark, in his FM radio DJ voice, goes, you have just heard a rare platter from the record library of the sound of Superboy and Superflight. It was recorded years ago.
What?
And
because of the whoosh sound?
She walks in and she goes, oh. And for a moment, I thought I discovered that Clark was going to be the Superman.
He's playing sound effect records?
So she goes to leave, and Clark goes, Close call. My super hearing overheard
thank
Lisa's
God.
remark in the other office, and I swiftly put on the sound effect record
Had
once
to
again.
get it.
He goes, I quickly did. He goes, once again, it paid off to have a trick up my sleeve to be used in case of emergency. So he has that Superboy record just nearby.
The sound you just heard is a cow.
Oh, man. So, but as she's leaving, Lisa goes, hold on. What if Clark really is Superman? He could have kept that sound effect record handy just to cover it up.
Damn, woman, come on.
Which is a weird thing just to be like, I bet he has a sound effect record nearby to
He
cover
just
up
got
him
one in
being
his pants at all
Superman.
time.
And so she goes, you know what? I can prove he's Superman. Or no, she goes, if I can prove that he's Superman, maybe he might think that I'm so clever, he'll want to marry me.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
The logic there is just like, hey, he has this secret identity that he wants nobody to know about.
So here's the
If
deal.
I out that and figure it, he'll
If
be
I
like,
can fuck that up for him, I bet he'll love me forever. Oh, and by the way, I'm kind of screwing society at the same time. But other than that, I'll be good.
he'll think I'm so clever. Like, man, she's so smart.
He'll want to put a baby in
Yeah,
me.
Lex Luthor finally succeeded, but you know what? He loves me.
At least he loves me. I wish he didn't have to work that factory.
So she comes back and she decides she's going to cut Superman's hair because she's like, oh, if I try to cut these scissors, she goes, I'm going to try to snip off a lock of the scissors. And if the scissors can't cut the hair, then it proves that it's Superman. Because remember, there was a time where he couldn't cut, like he had to do special things to shave and all that. Like hair couldn't penetrate his skin, all that. It's weird. Silver Age stuff.
The thing is, what she's going to find is he keeps a big wad of hair in his pocket at all times. So, yeah. It's like, oh, no. Yeah.
He has that secret hair there.
Well, he moves so fast.
He does.
He just throws some of that loose hair on his head.
Loose hair. Better than loose milk.
Sure. Loose milk. Soup is cereal.
Oh, man. That's been a whole thing here lately. So, I wonder, has the DVD hit the corner? I just noticed that now. I got distracted the entire time we watched. I wonder if it's hit down in your corner. The DVD logo that's behind
it's hitting my corner, all right.
I don't like that. So, but as Lisa comes up behind Clark with these scissors to, cut his hair, he turns around and uses his X-ray vision to cut through the small screw that connects the scissor blades. So they fall apart. And she's like, drats. Like, I guess that's not going to work. So then, as before Clark connects it, Lisa douses him with a liquid. And he's like, Lisa, what is this? And she goes, cheap perfume. It's sent as guaranteed to clean you for weeks. Superman is scheduled to appear at a public ceremony at City Hall this afternoon. And if he smells, then I've proved that it's really you.
Shit, now I got to go back in time again.
Essentially.
He's just consistently going back in time, back in time, back in time.
So, no, it's even better. He flies away to a cave and leaves his clothes in there.
Okay.
And he's like, I'll leave them here. That way they won't stop traffic because of how much it smells. And you can see, even flying in outer space, the scent waves of this cheap perfume that Lisa doused on him.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of those scents? You bathe in the rays of the sun itself, Mike.
Night swept.
Soon, Superman bathes himself on the sun's torrid surface, and he's like, the mightiest sun bath of all time. It's working. The sun's inconceivably high temperature is evaporating the cheap perfume off of me.
What? That's not the way evaporation works.
It does here.
Okay.
So they come back, and it's him Superman accepting that award at City Hall, and Lisa shows up and goes, you don't smell like perfume. And the mayor goes, of course not, young lady. He's Superman, not a bouquet of flowers.
Womp, womp.
She runs off crying, and she's like,
I thought it was flowers.
Yeah, it goes, that evening, Clark donned his scented outer garments again and returns to the radio station. And she's like, he's like, it's better this way. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got him out of order. She's just like, Lisa says, I've been a fool for hoping to trick Superman into marrying me. I'll quit my job. And Clark goes, it's better this way. Now I can carry on my work as Superman without being bothered by an inquisitive female.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Then I don't want you to look at the bottom, Mike. I need to see this
Okay.
to see it. But actually, here, I'll just.
No, you're good. I got it. I'm covering
You're
it
good.
up.
So then what happens is Clark is able to just sit there and he buys a new suit and makes sure to say that he purchases a new suit that's not doused in cheap perfume.
Look how much he loves those sounds.
Dude,
coming
he
off
does.
that record.
And then it goes, that last song was entitled Alone at Last. It's a special favorite of mine. Chuckle.
It's dreamy.
And so I'll play it again right now. And he does, and he fades off, listening to the Alone at Last. And he goes, no Lois Lane to drive me dippy. No Lana Lang to hound me unmercifully. No Lisa Landis to sneak up on me. Man, this is living.
This is living indeed.
That's what he says. But comes the dawn and the close of another broadcast, and Lois shows up. And she goes, I'm Lois of Lois Lane of the Daily Planet. And I've been assigned to write an article on the private life of a disc jockey. I've received permission from the station to study you day and night. And Clark just goes, I quit, and just like barges out. Through the time barrier, Superman speeds again. How ironic. I tried to live another life to escape the suspicions of Lois. Not only was I kept busy rescuing Lois, but another LL zeroed in on me. I give up. Now, do you want to take a guess, Mike? I know the people who have read this, but you haven't, and the people listening to the audio are going to get the full benefit of this whole comic.
Yeah,
because it's going to benefit this part. Do you want to guess what the moral of the story is? Right, we got the last two panels here. You want to think the moral of the story is of like, man, maybe I just have to come to accept that Lois is always going to be something, right? Something like that. Or
I think the moral of the story is time travel's just not worth it.
There we go. You want to know how we end this story?
How's that?
Returning to the year 1960, Clark reports back to his job at the Daily Planet. And Lois is sitting talking to this blonde woman at the desk. And Clark goes, that woman Lois is interviewing looks very familiar. And then it says, after the woman departs, Lois comes over to Clark and goes, that woman who just left has been selected the wife of the year.
That's her, right?
She's married to the owner of the radio station.
Yeah.
That's Lisa Landis. You want to know what Clark has to say about Lisa Landis, Mike?
I think he's going to say she got big.
Great Scott. That was Lisa Landis, grown enormously fat through the years. Gasp. Thank goodness I never married her. Woo.
Yeah.
The end.
Wow.
What a fucking dick.
What a dipshit. Yeah, that sucks. Wow.
All of that story.
It was all fun and games.
It
until
was
the fat
all
lady
fun
shows
and
up.
games
Yep.
until I can body shame somebody.
Wow.
That's my Superman.
Wow.
I know. I get that it was written from that, but still, I was
but still at the time,
the whole.
that's still
No,
shitty.
it's not. It's very shitty. But the whole thing is like story. That's what we're gonna end with.
Story. Fat joke. Bump, 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 bump.
Bump.
Yep, that's it.
Man,
wow.
That poor chubby kid who had to read that was just like,
shit, right?
Yeah. Still,
Huh.
I just read that. It's kind of like the one we covered a couple weeks. The last Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, and I'm sure this is not the last one like this either, where she made sure to point out that he picked a prune face girl for the beauty queen.
Yeah. I have no idea, and completely off topic, I have no idea why comics are considered so male dominated.
They're not. So here's the thing though, is they're not. Like, there have been phenomenal female like authors and artists.
Not at that time.
And there were some at that time.
Oh, really?
Some of them, some of these people had. There's a great,
no fat ones though.
For sure, not being able to write stories. They probably pitched them and they were told like, that's funny. One day, kid.
That's funny, Tubby.
Now instead she's gonna be fat.
Yeah.
No, it was there's a great book called Women in Comics that I've read that's really good, just about like the early, it kind of talks about like the people in the golden age and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there was also, and I am blanking. Oh, there's a really great anecdote in the book 10 Cent Plague, which I still need to finish. That's about the like the EC Comics, the Senate hearing about how evil, like we've talked about.
Yeah, I think you've talked about
all that.
It's what the comics code came out of. And
but
all that
they're
stuff.
interviewing one of these artists. Like, they're talking about, like, you walk through this woman's house and she just has artwork all over the wall of like either people she's taught or like things she's done. And some of it's like even like there's like old comic book art hung, and it just doesn't seem to fit the woman. And it's because you come to find out, like, why they're telling the story is like she was an artist there at the time and was phenomenal at what she did, but how they just ran everybody out because of obviously like, oh, they're evil and all that. And she never went back to doing things like that. But there have always been, maybe not again under women, sometimes not even under women pen names, but, or, you know, for art or for penmanship for authoring. I don't know.
Penmanship for authoring.
Yeah. Anyway, so that I just
we're teaching.
I just got to that and I was like, really? That's how we're going to close it out? But that is the end.
Yeah, that's a shitty ending. Hey, it's Cora, the car hop.
That's not what. There's just a cheap joke in there. The reason I included this page is at the very bottom.
Son of Bizarro.
Yeah, but look at that creepy little baby.
Yeah,
look at that creepy little Bizarro baby.
Yeah,
it's a 3-part novel about the son of Bizarro.
What does it say about Frankenstein?
Oh, Bizarro, a crude imitation of Superman, weirder than Frankenstein.
Oh, weird.
I wanted to ask you, do you want me to see if I can hunt down the son of Bizarro epic? Then?
Oh, please. Come
on. There's some other, also there's
Aquaman, the Aqua Thief of the Seven Seas, and the Interplanetary Kongorilla. Love it.
Pretty sure Kongorilla was in Creature Commandos.
Superman's battle with Hercules.
Yeah, and the mystery Supergirl. A riddle you'll never solve. I also included 2 ads just to close this out. If you wanted to get a free genuine nickel silver signet ring,
that's how you join Skull and Bones.
You want to know? You want to know all you? You want to know all you got to do to get that ring? Just name those 4 guys.
Jefferson,
but don't mail without the coupon.
Oh, coupon.
Yeah. And then lastly, Mike, because we're all about kids making money in these comics.
Is this seed packages?
No.
Oh.
Do you want spending money? Sell these popular patriotic and religious mottos.
What?
You just send.
It's just a motto written on a piece of paper? Wow.
Send us no money in advance. Just write and ask us to send you 40 of these beautiful glittering mottos.
Stephen's credit sales.
Which the public likes so well. Sell them easily and quickly to your friends and neighbors for only 35 cents each. At the end of 14 days, send back, if you wish, all mottos you have not sold, and send us only 25 cents for each you have sold. You keep all the rest of the
whole
money.
dime.
You make a dime off of it. If you sell 25, you keep $2.50. If you sell 30, you know, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Remember,
30,
no money is needed in advance. You take no risk. You can return all of the mottos you do not
it's pieces of paper.
What if you lose it?
I want to know how big they are.
That size.
Well, what I'm thinking is they're a quarter page.
But it says...
because you can make 4 per piece of paper, right?
But you sell something that just says, God bless our home. Is that a motto?
Well, you take that and you slap it on the dog's ass and have him walk around the house.
But
or whatever.
Is that a motto?
I don't know. What's your definition of a motto?
I don't know what a motto is. That's how we're going to close out the show, is defining motto. Thank you guys, as always, for listening to us as I look at this definition. We always appreciate a lot of great comments. Some great ones on cops this week, including some information I did not know about Vibe being an actual DC superhero. I think Stephen Smith hit us up with that, so thank you for that.
Vibrate.
But motto, here we go. A short sentence or phrase chosen as encapsulating the beliefs or ideals guiding an individual, family, or institution.
There you go. Bless our home.
The school motto, serve and obey. So bless our home, or God bless our home is a motto. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well, the more you know now.
Can I see your papers? That's another one.
That's not a motto, I don't think. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it so much. Make sure to check out the Rogue Media Network and all the other Rogue Media Network family of podcasts.
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
And until next time, I didn't realize that was weird. I had that little collar thing and it made me look weird. I shouldn't look at myself. Anyway, I don't know why I did that. Until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Hey, golly con, everybody.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.